Sisi ano ye hwe mu kon kitawudie no sisi no ebema obi bia akwaba shonko so e de aba Ghana politics abede so ye besere obi bia sese afei eno abadwumadi kese we so like share subscribe to the channel and send ya political trending news bia eba bia no Ghana politics abede so yen ne yaso a edwumadi we e de abrem si ene mo bedi dwuma na edwumadi we abom ene ye political highway no so na yensem bebre ene yaso akote ensem de bi ne sisi no eye kisi ejapin a yelipsi friend OSP on sisi ano former finance minister friend Ken Ofori Ata say all free Ghana ha kunna kisi ejapen ensa ehhehya ase onim de hu bi protester omoye etia OSP no sisi ano abetom se sisi ano mo meeting up ewowom nyina no ye master ye papa oye lawyer kesi nimpom or full evidence ebusuan for allegedly right now no de yenya no and it says here lawyer Martin Kepbu aba silence or say oguso ni investigation on the case no na kakakakene kakranka wanya no odi abetudwa ebusuan for yem pese beje mo mra boso no yem pese be say mo mre bebre no mo yenkoni nkotie de okafa.
They say that your argument about the travel stop list is immaterial because the matter involves an extradition process which is fundamentally different from the routine stop list that you are asking for. Manasseh.
Well, I'm not asking for it. There have been debates ongoing, and the debate has been that some security chiefs in the past administration did not cooperate with the OSP, and this conversation arose because some people said he watched Ken Ofori-Atta leave the country. And so my point was to find out from these people, if someone is saying you did not cooperate and they were helpless, what was the situation at the time? Did the person approach you and request your help in this matter? And they said no. And I just wanted to find out, even if now the person or these people are on the stop list. And I was surprised to learn that they are still not there. When I spoke to the OSP, I spoke to the special prosecutor himself. He said that, look, there are mechanisms to pick them up. They wouldn't even get to the immigration desk, something I also put there in the write-up. But the security chiefs said that if someone is on a stop list, they don't only concern themselves with the airport. We have the seaport and the land borders across. So if there is no formal communication to put someone on the stop list, then the person going through the system may not be apprehended, because if you don't have the orders to stop somebody from traveling or getting in, you cannot do that. So these are the facts that I've put out there. And some of the comments they have made to the effect that their investigation established Ken Ofori-Atta as a key, whatever. I think that was said in the documentary in 2023.
Well, but that's what Addo is saying, that in this statement in response to you, he says it is their investigation, the OSP's investigation, that uncovered Ken Ofori-Atta as the key architect in this entire SML thing. You disagree?
Well, anybody who cares to revisit our documentary would see Ken Ofori-Atta in even the promo of that documentary. The online stories, the very first online story, it is still online, published in December 2023. The title is, the headline, "The 3 billion CD lie. Government pays hundreds of millions to a company in a shady deal." The first photograph there is Ken Ofori-Atta, and then you have Christian Soti, who is the managing director of SML. So at every material point, we mention this. Ernest Akore was also mentioned. And if Ghanaians care to know, the OSP has confessed that at the time Ernest Akore was leaving the country, that was almost the end of 2024, the office of the special prosecutor did not know that he was a person of interest. That is right. I agree with them. And that is because as of 2024 November, the office of the special prosecutor of the Republic of Ghana had not started the SML investigation. And I'm saying this on authority. Tomorrow I'll provide the evidence. If you are also saying that you could not stop him because the security people, the heads of the immigration, the NIB and national security did not support you, then we will be asking, did you reach out to them? The question is no. Why didn't you reach out? Well, I knew that they would not cooperate with me. That's why I didn't reach out. And that's the argument I've been having with Mr. Kisia Jabin. If you reach out to them and they did not support you, then you would have a case. But you can't just assume that they wouldn't support you, you don't reach out, and then you blame them. So these are some of the facts I'm trying to put out there so that when we are having this discussion, everybody knows that the people were not reached out to. They were not written to stop.
Manasseh, on that bit about what he said regarding the other security agencies and the lack of cooperation, he said during the previous administration, this is a response to you, it was the heads of the certain institutions who were accused of non-cooperation, not the institutions themselves. So those individuals are no longer in office. But Kisi actually never said that in the video. Is that interview?
He did not say what?
This particular quote that Samida Akom, put out in response to you.
Yes, I didn't hear that.
Yes.
What I heard was that the security services were not cooperating, only the Ghana Police Service.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's what I heard. But how can you say that the heads were not cooperating, but the institutions themselves would have cooperated? I think the institutions are not the buildings, it's the people and the management that run them. But the point I'm just trying to make is that these are facts that I want to put out there so that when we are having this debate, we now know that the special prosecutor did not write to them. And he has his reasons. In the current administration that the office says they are cooperating, they have not been written to put Ken on a stop list. Mm-hmm. He has his reason. So that if any of the suspects or the accused sneak in and out, we know who to place the blame on. And as journalists, it is part of our responsibility to put these facts out there to get the public to know who did what, who did not do what, so that they make up their minds.
Well, the judgment, it depends on where, or your perspective, or where you view the decision. If you are for the MPP, it will not sound good for you. If you're an NDC, you will be so happy to have that judgment. And all is due to the previous by-elections or rerun that has occurred that the NDC has won. So it will not sound good for the MPP, but good for the NDC. But it depends on the content or the details of the elections. That is the constituency. And when you profile the constituency, you can realize that the NDC may have an upper hand in that constituency because from 1996 to 2008, that is 2008. The NDC has won by there's a candidate. That is one candidate have all 1996, 2000, 2004, and 2008. And the MPP started winning the elections. That is from 2012 and 2016 with this candidate, the current candidate. Let's say the MP for now. Maybe the rerun will decide whether it continues or not. That is Mr. Matthew. And when it comes to 2020, the NDC also won in 2020. But 2024, what makes the NDC very happy for the rerun is that President Mahama won the election with a difference with Dr. Bawumia on 100 votes. 100 votes. And the MP won a difference of 3,734. So the constituency, you might have a dicey when it comes to rerun. But the issue is that the MDC candidate presented about, I think, 41 polling stations for it to be annulled or be changed, but with other issues in terms of misconduct, in terms of not being present at the collation center, and also saying that there was biometric kind of issues. So I don't know whether the courts, based on previous constituencies like Akroma, where there were some issues about some polling stations, they made a rerun. But since they presented about 41, and later the court, in its own wisdom, realized that they have to do a whole constituency, and that is where the issue comes in with the MPP trying to think that the ruling is not fair to them. So they have to go in for the appeal. So it gives an indication about how the NDC pursue 2024 elections. They pursue it with all kinds of strategies, with all kinds of aggressiveness towards the parliamentary candidate, hence the presidential, because the way they were able to take more seats determines how they strategize for this. Whatever, maybe it might sound good or it might not be a good strategy or not, but at the end of the day, they really strategize for that. So I believe that at the end of the day, if it goes on appeal, the appeal court will decide. It might go for a rerun for only that 41 constituency. That might be, should I say, well, a fair judgment for the MPP rather than a general kind of constituency election. So it's a big dicey, but in all, if there's a rerun of 41 or a general constituency election, I think the MPP might not take the seat back, but the NDC will take the seat. So it is a mirrored kind of dicey situation about that constituency. But that constituency can be described as a strange constituency of which the NDC always have the upper hand. And I think that it might go for the NDC if there's any kind of by-election, rerun, or whatever kind of election. Even 41, the NDC will take the seat back.
We have the issue of decentralization of Accountant General's departments. We have struggled with this for some years, and I think that the time has come when we take bold action about decentralizing the Accountant General's departments. The Accountant General in Ghana manages the payroll of a nurse in my hometown in Bolin. If she reports to work, she doesn't report to work. If she deserts her position, her salary continues to go into her account, because by the time somebody writes a letter to the region sends it to the ministry sends it to the Accountant General, some 3, 4, 5, 6 months have passed. And then every year, the Auditor General will flag it and say somebody continued to receive a salary even after they had deserted their post. There's a case of the person who died. I'm sure you heard it in the last Auditor General's report. And the officials of the entity attended his funeral. And yet, after the man died, they attended his funeral. For 36 months, his salary was credited to his account. I mean, that is extreme anyway, but it's an example of what can happen, you know, if we don't decentralize and strengthen the process. And so teachers work in the districts, nurses work in the districts, and they form the bulk of our payroll. I don't see why we can't have district treasuries where their payments are made from, so that if they are not at post, it's easier to be able to determine that. I know that you have this system of validation, and so every month they have to sign to make sure that people are at post. But who really goes around and goes to every single school in my district to count which teacher is there and which teacher is not there? They just validate automatically. And that's how come sometimes we have ghosts, you know, on the payroll. However you exercise them, they resurrect. And so that's something that we need to look at. And I'll give the example of gold in Ghana. We had a free-for-all where we had people called gold traders. And they could go into the bushes and buy gold from our small-scale miners. There are several instances, and I'll give you one example. When I was president, my vice president went to India, and he was talking about the increasing trade between Ghana and India. And he mentioned Ghana's export items to India, one of which was gold. And he mentioned a certain value of that gold. And then, lo and behold, the Indian Minister of Commerce also came to give his speech and also talked about the increasing trade between Ghana and India. But the fly in the ointment was that there was a disparity in how much gold was reported to have been exported from Ghana and how much gold was received in India. And so definitely something was not quite right. It just meant that people were under-declaring the weight and quality of the gold they were taking out. We also found a disparity where a mining company's figures of exported gold was different from the gold received by that, exported by that same mining company to Canada. And so this government took the bold decision to establish the gold board and make it illegal to take any gold out of Ghana with stringent penalties. And you won't believe it, the amount of foreign exchange that we get from the gold trade has suddenly jumped so high. It just shows, what greater control of your natural resources can do. And Africa should not be ashamed of it. I mean, the developed countries say they are tired of giving us ODA. Humanitarian assistance has reduced by 40% across the world. And God blessed us with those natural resources. And we must use those natural resources to improve the lives of our people. And so any country that has natural resources in terms of minerals and all that, we must increase our sovereignty in terms of how those natural resources are either exported or insist on value addition for them.
We didn't watch him leave. We were powerless. That is the truth. We were powerless. We saw him leave, but we couldn't prevent him from leaving at the airport.
That comment is proven to be the final nail in the coffin for Ghanaians who say they are yet to see any action since the office of the special prosecutor was set up. Since then, pressure continues to pile on both the special prosecutor and the office with calls for a complete dissolution of the institution. The latest in that pressure is a planned protest dubbed Agronifim, questioning why high-profile crimes are yet to see the light of day.
The theme for this demo is Agronifim. We are marching. We are wearing our red, black. I beg me, I wear my gown like this, and I will go. This guy, I wear the same gown, and I will go and present my case. And if he doesn't listen and doesn't take it, then we know the sort of president he is.
Lead convener of the protest, Apostle Abraham Labi Lincoln, wants the office scrapped and the OSP, Kisi Ejabing, to resign.
Let us march. We are marching straight to Jubilee House. Then we petition the president. President, Kisi, we don't hate him. We don't have a problem with all that play. Either it will be dissolved and reformed or sack all of them. Kisi need to be prosecuted. He himself need to be investigated.
Private legal practitioner Martin Kepbu, who is backing the protest, wants Ghanaians to join the demonstrations.
As we talk now, there are 15 petitions for the removal of Kisi Ejabing. When was the last time you heard 15? Even, the other persons who are subject to Article 146 proceedings. I've never heard of 15 petitions. So that tells you that there's something wrong.
While the pressure builds, the former NDC Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Inusa Hussaini, wants Ghanaians to rather support the office in delivering on its mandate.
That people must understand that fighting corruption is a difficult task. And no one must underestimate the ability of people who have acquired wealth illegally to use their tainted wealth to corrupt other institutions of accountability. You must understand that. Now, they also have the ability, because of the wealth that they have, the money that they have gotten through corruption and corruption-related activities, to hire the best lawyers. That makes the fight against corruption an onerous tax. And that's what we must understand. So the office of the special prosecutor does not need condemnation. It needs encouragement.
The protest is expected to start from the Obra Swart in Accra and end at the Jubilee House, where the petition will be presented to the president. Enyunam Haliga, TV3 News, Accra.
And should be our bread and hurt me purpose away. Yet, will be as I had a Ghana politics avenue also. Yam Paseba Sam, Ebusian for in Uncle and should be a so on Sanka be a Uguzu Hedgemediano, like it, share, subscribe to the channel, and share my Obusian for Union for Bianson, sir, and to make catch be our Ghana politics avenue used to be. Ebusian for Cecilia, on Sanka, so fashion comment section, my son, by a Regiment, not on TV, or the show I bet me know what you in Kitaudi. It will be